But anyway, here's Taylor.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody letting me do this. Hello?
Hold it down, let's turn the screen.
That's right.
Hold it down, let's turn the screen. And turn it low. It's green now?
Oh, it's green. It's, oh,
There, we hear you.
all right.
No, wait till I get to it a minute. If it's over.
Now, I've gone skydiving, and I've also hiked Yellowstone. But for some reason, butterflies are on my stomach, and I'm reminded of this time. I'm stepping up off a platform, and I am suspended by two very thin cables. I'm going 50 miles an hour through the air. I'm ziplining. I am actually ziplining. It is beautiful. I'm seeing trees in the treetops. I'm seeing the flowers. I'm going faster than the little squirrels around me. There are sounds and sights of nature all around me. Although the feeling felt familiar. I've had it before. And I got to thinking, it's just like that I experienced while I was at Yellowstone. It was an experience of being in Him and with Him. It was an experience and an awareness of God. It was an awareness of God that I had not felt since I was at Yellowstone Park. I was with Him in all of His power. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be 70 feet above the earth, soaring? Well, have you ever imagined what experiencing God's world would be like? Comes pretty close in my world to ziplining. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a zipline tour guide? Well, last season I was a zipline tour guide. And I'd like to tell you 3 reasons that serving as a tour guide was a true mountaintop experience. Ziplining is safe if you follow the company and guests standard operating procedures. I'd also like to say that the ziplining is amazing. It's an amazing, ineffable experience when you have an awesome tour guide that knows what they're doing. And you'll find God in the zipline experience because the Bible promises that you will. But more on that later. I had never ziplined before. It was just dangerous, getting up on a line and going in between 2 trees. That's crazy talk, if you will. But I soon realized just what an important role safety played and how important safety really was. And I learned that the tour guides had a lot of roles, more than just a tour guide. You had to be part athlete, part daredevil, part safety inspector, and part EMT. Ziplining is safe if you choose to save company and you follow the rules. I can tell from my personal experience that following the rules is very important. Zipline did a lot for me, and what they did is taught me how to keep other people safe during this incredible experience. As I've said, safety is the most important feature. Many guests want to be safe, so they will follow the rules. They'll entertain you, and they will do as you ask. But most guests, when they want to be safe, they want to take part in the fun. And part of that is following the rules, and one of the rules is the weight limit. And unfortunately, everybody wants to be within that weight limit, either just enough or just below. I had one individual who was too great for the weight limit. He was about 100 pounds overweight of what we accepted, and he said he was 1 pound under the maximum. And that wound up to be not the best ziplining experience for him. He wound up severely injured. The cables and the guides and the equipment can only handle so much. The opposite is true. Parents want to get their little children up. I had one little girl who was just below the minimum weight limit, and her parents said she was right at. Well, she comes down the line and she gets stuck. That's normal. It's normal for people to get stuck on the zip line, but she got stuck farther out because she weighed so little, and somebody else went and sent another individual down that same line. And that caused me to have to jump into hyper mode and be able to get out there and rescue that individual. And by the grace of God, I did. If it wasn't for the Lord intervening in that situation, then that little girl would have been crushed, greatly injured by a individual of significant size. The other part of being a zipline tour guide is providing a very fun and unique experience. There are long, long waits when it comes to going from line to line to line. And as a zipline tour guide, you got to be able to entertain. You got to be able to entertain. And I got pretty good at that. I got pretty good at being able to entertain. And you also have to be an athlete. You have to be safety conscious and entertain people from the ages of 3 to 93. But as a Christian, you have an even greater assignment. Your guest can find God because the zipline experience is Romans 1, 19 through 20, which tells us that they can. And they know the truth about God because He has made it obvious to them. For ever since the world was created, people have seen the earth and sky. Through everything God made, they clearly see His invisible qualities, His eternal power and divine nature. So they have no excuse for not knowing God. Ziplining has been an important part of me and my being, and one of the best jobs that I've ever had. Thank you.